Why does it do that? Hold on. I hate StreamYards. Not as much as I hate Cox Cable, but I hate StreamYards. So happy Sunday, June 4th. A little bit more time left in the day than I usually get you guys because Sunday I get done with everything early. But eventually, when Enosh comes back, we'll probably be doing less and less of the Sundays because if I can remember, it's been a while. Sundays are usually the nights where he goes long, and I'll probably be on that particular panel, depending on when he starts. If he starts earlier, then it's a different deal. If he starts, like the old usual time where we used to go like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, then we'll make adjustments. But for right now, here we are, semi-overnighter, a little bit longer than a midnight express, but a lot shorter than a true overnighter, which is what we did last night. Last night's show was cool. I really enjoyed last night's show. We got to bring in a guest. We had to talk, but there was a lot to talk about this weekend. Spider-Man is now at 120 million. That is phenomenal. It just proves to me that Sony, like we've been over last night, Sony makes the best Spider-Man stories. My top 4 are non-Disney associated stories. Now, No Way Home is up there, but it's behind Spider-Man 2. It's behind Into the Spider-Verse. It's behind Across the Spider-Verse. It's behind the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. So, like I said, I know eventually they'll find some way, shape, or form to stick Miles in the Marvel uncoordinated, discombobulated salad that is the current MCU. And hopefully, if they do this, the people who are Lord and Miller, who are currently writing that story, they need to be on board. That's the only way I see a watchable Miles Morales in that universe, and not taking 4 movies or 3 movies to get to what Miles Morales what really is, and that's what we saw with Tom Holland Spider-Man. It just took too long to get to where Peter should have already been. So let's go play with the chat. Comments. All right, how are you doing, Vince? Anthony, what's going on? Hey, Film Goblin. Yeah, it really is. Long time no see. I've been all right, man. I've been getting better with all this. Lots of stuff going on this week. I mean, within, like I said, 7 days, or I think within the last 11 days, I've seen The Flash, went to AEW Double or Nothing, have seen Spider-Verse, and if I wanted to, I could see Transformers tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to pass on that. I'm only really going for Unicron to see him transform, and once I see that, then, my bucket list is crossed. How you doing, Toronto? Since you're a comic store, what is the crazy experience that you felt was an out of body experience where you felt there was no way this is real? Someone has to wake me up and pinch me. I haven't had too many of those. I'm gonna have to think. I mean, running the business is an out of body experience on a daily basis. So, I've had some celebrities come in, over the years, and it's been kind of cool that people just walk in because it is Vegas, and some people, celebrity wise, are collectors, and they find us, so something like that. But people coming in crazy costumes sometimes, sketchily clad, crazy costume cosplay stuff. I can't think of anything specific though that was an out of body experience. How you going, Jacob? Yeah, that's a pretty good deal for them. The only thing that was I don't know how much they needed to clear to be profitable because it was a $285 million budget. But I heard from people, like I said, I saw it, and I heard from people who said to see it that that they enjoyed it. 780 million is probably going to be right around where a Marvel movie that doesn't have Captain America, Spider Man, or the mainline Avengers in it. That's pretty much where you're probably going to be at, which is good. How you doing, Chappie? Well, some trades are saying that Muschietti is helping the Brave and the Bold. I've heard that for quite a while now. I don't know how true it is, but if he is, I feel a lot better about the Brave and the Bold with him at the helm. William thought on Spider Verse. So yeah, I covered this. Or 208 million. I'm sorry, 208 million as worldwide box. Is that where it's at right now? Oh, I didn't look before I got on the air. I know it was up there. Yep. Budget on a budget of 100 million, it doubled its budget. It's at 208 million, and that's just the first weekend. Although I think the first 2 weeks of this movie is where 82% of your gross comes from the first 2 weeks. But dude, the first one only made less than 400. The first one cost 90 million and made 384 million. So the first one, and it won two Oscars. So they spent $10 million more and are already going to break even. So, and it's a great movie. It is the best Spider-Man movie. So I'm glad other people agree with their pocketbooks. Number is also believed. Did you hear the Directors Guild of America has reached a tentative deal with the studios and the streamers? No, I have not. Where did you hear that from, Numbers? Because we were talking about this last night and because we were trying to gauge when this was all going to end. So yeah, I haven't seen anything on my alerts, but that doesn't mean it's not true. It just hasn't made it to me yet. Yeah, nothing. Look up the full of. Here we go. New York Times. Hollywood directors reach deal with studios as writer's strike continues. That's kind of surprising for me. I thought there would be solidarity, but no. That's the. I don't know if this is a paywall, but all right. The union that represents thousands of movie and television directors reached a tentative agreement with the Hollywood studios on a 3-year contract early Sunday morning, a deal that ensures labor peace with one major guild as the writer's strike enters its 6th week. The Directors Guild of America announced in a statement overnight that it had made unprecedented gains, including improvements in wages and streaming residuals, a type of royalty, as well as guardrails around artificial intelligence, which is something we were talking about last night. We have concluded a truly historic deal. John Aberrant, the chair of DGA's negotiating committee, said in the statement, it provides significant improvements for every director, assistant director, unit, production manager, assistant director, and stage manager in our guild. The deal prevents the doomsday Hollywood scenario of 3 major unions striking simultaneously. On Wednesday, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which bargains on behalf of the studios, will begin negotiations for a new contract with SAG-AFTRA, the guild that represents the actors. Their current agreement expires on June 30th. SAG-AFTRA is in the process of collecting a strike authorization vote. The entertainment industry, so all right, WGA leaders had been signaling. Okay, over the last month, the writers have enjoyed a wave of solidarity from other unions. What WGA leaders have said they have not seen in generations, whether a director's deal or a possible actor's deal after this month undercuts solidarity, is now an open question. WGA leaders had been signaling that to writers last week that a deal with the directors could be an offing, a strategy that it said was part of the studio playbook to divide and conquer. The writers in the studios left the bargaining table on May 1st, very far apart on major issues, and have not resumed negotiation. Ooh, wow. That is interesting because WGA just lost a little bit of leverage. So there you go. Should I trust this? According to Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and Geeks and Gamers, Marvel is set to announce a cast for Fantastic Four comic. That's about right. I don't know. It had nothing to do with it coming from there, but they've already got their cast. So Marvel likes to make a big deal out of Comic-Con, and I think that's very well true that could happen there. I'll be at Comic-Con for a day. I'm just going to try to avoid Saturday because that's a shit show right there. All right, got that. Or Howard pushing the guy in a mud pool who's like, it's made for. Or what did you? Did I miss you? All right. Well, I thought on Tony Gilroy reveals that George Lucas told him he loved Rogue One. I believe it. It's the second best star horror movie. Yep, I believe all that. Oops, there's a B in here. William Thought Michael Keaton says he doesn't think Let's Get Nuts was the original Batman script. I'm almost positive it wasn't in the script. That was me. Yeah, a guy like that probably ad-libbed it. I believe it. All right, so let me get this fly out of my. All right, so yeah, I actually think Rogue One is right after Empire Strikes Back is my second favorite Star Trek. Or wow, 40 slip. Star Wars movie. It's this very depressing movie, but I really enjoyed it. So let's see. By the way, if you guys did not get a chance to watch last night's stream, I'm going to go ahead and post it into the chat room. I rewatched it today. I'm really happy with just about everything about that stream. I rewatch all my streams to see if I can get better. I like the thumbnail. I like the conversation. I like everything that we were able to. Even the internet connection was didn't give me any problems last night, and I didn't go to my hotspot. So there it is in the chat room for those of you who have not had a chance to take a look at it. Yeah, no problem. They finally got a chance to read your DM, so yeah, we'll work on that for the whole Trek thing. Well, I thought Oscar Ayers wants Pedro Pascal to appear in Beyond the Spider-Verse. He should be a spider person, a cranky old spider person. What is Pedro Pascal not in these days? Question: I have an update on my friend that I told you about that got diagnosed with throat and cool. Wow, yeah. Uh, yeah, he went to his doctor. Yeah, man, double whammy on that guy. I hope he's doing better. Hey, they told him that he's in remission, but to be safe, he has to go in and out of hospital for chemo so it doesn't come back. If you're in remission for colon cancer, that's good. That's one of the most serious. I mean, all cancer is serious, but colon cancer is the one that really does the most and is the most aggressive. So, hope your friend stays in remission, man, and hope he continues this fight there. So, if SAG doesn't join WGA strike, what does that mean for the writers of Buck? Not entirely, but they're in a lesser position that they would have been if both of those unions would have struck with them, because I think they could have expedited all of this. Now they're on an island. They could possibly be on an island all on their own. So that sucks for them, and it sucks for us because this thing could last forever. Message. There you go. Yeah, like I said, I was hoping that with them combining forces and everybody going to strike, the producers and the studios would be like, okay, this is too much. We can't afford this. Let's get back to the negotiating table. But now, and I'm interested to see the specifics of what the directors were able to come to, especially on the Netflix end. The Netflix to me is a wild card in this whole thing simply because of the fact that, like I've always said, they are the ones in this entire game that cannot afford to budge. They cannot afford to compromise because unlike the other streamers, Netflix doesn't have studio or any other add-on revenue or primary revenue to draw from. Netflix is what they do. So they can't give up a lot of ground and end up paying more than they can afford to, or they could disappear. So it's going to be interesting to see where Netflix came over in this deal and what they were able to give. Because if there's any whatever they came to with them, it's probably going to be similar to what they come to with the Writers Guild. Well, the thought on the script for the Flash 2 has already been completed by David Leslie Johnson, Aquaman. It would include guest appearances from Michael Keaton. I've heard this. I don't know how true it is, but in any event, we would find out just how true it is after we see the first box office results of The Flash. I want to be a fly on the wall on how Howard the Duck, especially the script of that movie, got greenlit. Apparently, yeah. This is like I said, there should be a movie made on the making of that movie. That would probably be more watchable than the movie itself. JR server question: when you mentioned the Flash makes literally anything possible for DC, would you say that the Rock's Black Adam Superman battle could be one of them? Yeah, without giving you specifics and spoilers. The way things are explained and the way things end up, at least from the ending we were shown. We weren't even shown the full ending, though, so keep that in mind. However, I don't think the ending that they will give us, regardless to what it is, changes the premise because the explanation of how they did what they did stays the same no matter what this ending is. The ending is just a result of what is done, and it can be redone. So, William thought and Tom Holland says he wants to continue being Spider-Man for as long as he can do justice to Peter, as long as we can keep elevating and making the film better and making them mean more. Yeah, I agree with him. Now that they've gotten to a point where he's not, Tony Stark's lap boy or a junior Avenger, yeah, let's. Now I want. Whereas I just couldn't. I wasn't on board with the previous ones. Like I said, there's Spider-Man got upstaged by a dead guy's glasses in his own sequel because Tony Stark's glasses were the crux of the movie. So Spider-Man No Way Home, he becomes his own man, and that's where he needed to be from the beginning. So as long as they can keep on that trail, I'm all for it. Question: where's your excitement for Blade movie, even though it has been delayed and pushed back? It's non-existent right now. I don't get excited for Marvel Cinematic Universe's movies anymore because I've been let down like 50% of the time. Now, the 50% that was good, I had a great time, and I don't regret seeing them. But when you're talking about getting excited for Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, you have to have more than a 50% ratio for me to get excited about everything you do. Maybe back, in 2008, 2010, 2012 after Avengers, I was still getting excited, but I've had enough Thor in my life. I've had enough Guardians 2.0 in my life. I've had enough Quantumanium in my life to where I'm not going to get excited and this far in advance. Now, maybe when I see a trailer, that's different. But right now, just a mere mention of a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, zero. And that's across the board. The first time I saw Tom Holland as actually Spider-Man was the very end of No Way Home. Yeah, that's the first time he's actually the Spider-Man that he was designed to be. Let's check my mail. Got to make sure my mom's not messing me. Okay, I'll look at this later. All right, let's see. Did you watch Miami Denver game tonight? Denver might have a chance. I did not. I have not watched. They're going to replay it later on when I get off the air. ESPN's going to have it. I have not watched 1 minute of this finals. Not 1 minute of this finals. It's the first time in like about 20 some odd years that I have not watched at least 1 minute of the first two games. I just don't care about any of these teams. Sorry. But yeah, I see Miami tied it up, handed Denver their first loss. Did what they had the ability to do, and they started doing it in the first game, which is looks like they let Jokic score, but they didn't give him the lanes to make the assist. And when he's not giving out assists, that's where you limit his danger. So good for them. All right, hold on for a second. We get something coming in. Hold on. All right, so why are they doing this? Okay, I'll deal with that tomorrow. All right, is there a superhero in the Marvel pantheon equivalent to Shazam? Um, where I was a kid and gets powers equivalent to Thor, or I don't think so. No, I don't believe so. Anybody in the chat know? Because I can't think of one. William, why did Toby Emmerich hate Henry Cavill so much and Zack Snyder that Toby Emmerich was willing to recast Henry? Um, because they wanted to be right and they wanted to validate their stupid ass decisions. But unfortunately, they once again they eliminated Plan A and did not and did not have a Plan B. I don't care what your problem was with Snyder's route. If you didn't have a better replacement, you need to shut the hell up and sit back. And instead, they meddled with it, and now you have all the damage that they've had. Also, Frank Price of Executive Universal got fired over the movie bomb. He later would go to work at Columbia, so at least he got to land on his feet. Yeah, the rest of those guys just disappeared. William Thought and Tom Holland calls Into the Spider-Verse the best Spider-Man movie ever. Yeah, he's right. I'm excited for the second one. I'm sure it will live up there. But yeah, the second one's basically the same movie, just the other half of it. William, for next show, will you, Dave, and Stella go into the WGA strike so we have a better understanding of everything going on since the DGA pushed it out of the race? Yeah, we'll have to see where we're at, and we'll probably have to get. I want to see if I can get someone who's currently on strike to come on and talk about the strike. I know they can't talk about content, but I want to see if I can get somebody I know. With what you're saying about the plastics of the multiverse, what do you think will inspire renewed public interest in the? I don't know. I don't think so. Within our group, yeah, but in the general public, it's been like 5, 6, 7 years now. It could, but it could just be told, But it could open up the window for it to be told at all, and that would be good enough for me. William, would you consider Tommy Emmerich and all those other people, the old regime, not the worst executive ever, but they definitely weren't a fit for the company. They weren't what Warner Brothers Studio needed. Same thing with Walter Amada. Not a bad guy, but he was a wrong hire. He was a bad hire, and he was given a bad mandate from the people who hired him. So sometimes people just aren't the right people for the job. William thought on James Wan tells the Hollywood Reporter Aquaman 2 will still tackle and focus climate change. It's important. Well, yeah, if you historically Aquaman has always dealt with that. That's part of Aquaman's story. A lot of people call that woke because they're knuckle dragging Cro-Magnons, but that has always been the environment, especially the oceans. Obviously, has been a part of Aquaman's story in history since there was an Aquaman. He literally has a kingdom that exists in the ocean. So polluting the ocean is a very, it's in his best interest to fight that. Why don't we see more of these top directors try to open up their own movie studios so that they don't have to deal with these distribution? Distribution is more than most directors can afford to do. Without a distribution deal in place, and that means putting your movie everywhere and being able to get it out there. That's why a lot of independent directors don't make it, because it's distributing their product and getting it out there is much harder than a lot of people understand. Even those super rich directors. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not real versed on Adam Aaron. I've heard of him. But the people who are running Warner Brothers Studios helped devalue that studio by like 20, 30 billion. So I don't know. They kind of like, in my book, maybe worse. Said the DCU has been through lots of different versions, and one of the things that was challenging about the film was keeping track of what's going on portion of the Aquaman universe. Yeah. It's pretty much removed from the rest of the world, but here's the problem with that is it's been so long since anybody's seen an Aquaman movie. That might not be, I don't know if that's a good thing. Question: Do you think all directors should have creative freedom control over their movies, or do you think there should be some oversight from the producers and something? Yes, I think there should, because when it's done right, it's seamless and nobody knows about it. It's the directors are the ones, the producers and the executives are the ones paying for the movie. The director works for them. It's their movie. If you, even the people who are like the Spielberg, even they have to deal with some oversight, because it's somebody putting hundreds of millions of dollars down for a movie. They're going to have some say in it. Where it gets sticky is if you don't know what you're doing. If you're Warner Brothers and you interfere and you don't know what you're doing, you do damage. If you're MCU and you interfere and you know what you're doing, then you don't do damage. There's always going to be studio interference. They're never getting no director unless he is the studio. And like I said, you have to be at a Ben Affleck and a Matt Damon level to even do that, and that's on a very small level. The director is never going to have that type of freedom. All right, that's the other part of your question. By the way, thoughts on the rumor that Vin Diesel was pissed at Jason Momoa for overacting in Fast X? Vin's really starting to feud with all the breakout guys in the Fast Saga. I don't know how true that is. I've heard rumors, and that's one of those I don't believe it rumors. But Donald Trump Cruise reportedly asked rival studios to either give up their screens for Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 or move their release dates to for Barbie and Oppenheimer. That's another rumor I don't believe either. So, like I said, I have to see where that's coming from. All right. Let me pull up something here. I'm just looking up something I got here. Okay. What in the hell? Okay. So let's look at this. All right. So William, but I'm surprised that they haven't in a documentary on Rise and Fall to Over James. Oh, they will. There's a lot of probably contractual stuff that they can't talk about. Uh, like I said, I don't. Well, the studios need to work that out amongst each other. To be honest with you, because that's not necessarily a director thing. That's a studio thing, and that's a theater thing. They hold on. They really should know better than to put those movies in, because they know they're long. So I read your last comment, Anthony. I don't know enough about Adam Aaron, and I think Tommy Emmerich is one of the worst ones ever made, because, like I said, he devalued a company by billions, or he helped devalue a company by billions. What's going on, fourth? Heartburn. Avoiding spoilers is an accurate interpretation of what you said on the Flash. It explains time and ends in such a way that you could plug any in credit scene. No, anything you want going forward, not just an in credit scene. Anything you want going forward, in my opinion. William thought on rumors Zoe Kravitz and Barry Keegan are expected to return. Uh, Yeah, that's that. I don't think that's a rumor. That's a straight up fact right there. I'm gonna wait and see approach with this new DC universe with James Gunn. Shit, we got 3 years, so it could be quite a while. I'm not gonna put an unfair expectation because of dumbass decisions. Me either. Me either. I think it's gonna happen naturally. I also think that we have 3 years, and that's a long time. 2025 was when the movie was supposed to be released, but that was September of 2025. With this strike, you may as well, add another year onto that one. Well, thoughts on I'm having rated R. This is Christopher Nolan first R-rated movie in over 20 years. Wow, I don't know why it's made R, but it's historical violence, so it's not like it's. I know we're going to be promoting it, but I don't know. I don't know why it'll be rated R. Is it as icky as Euphoria? Because Euphoria just made me like, ugh. Is that on HBO Max? It's on HBO Max, so I'll have to take a look at it. I've been hearing about it, but I hadn't, put it on it. I'm a stream it with Disney whenever it kicks off. Let's see. Why do you think most fans have a lack of patience with James running DC already, even though he hasn't put movies in? What I said before is they don't trust it. Well, they don't trust DC and they don't trust Warner Brothers, and they don't have any reason to. I don't think it's a personal, let's say, personal against James Gunn. It's the fact that the biggest thing that DC ever did, they never followed up. You've been left hanging without a Superman for 5 years. They never finished a major storyline arc that they began. So it gets to the point where you just don't trust them anymore, and they're going to have to earn that trust back. So, yes, it shows both. And I'm from what I've heard, they did it without doing CGI. So it's going to be so the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima are definitely in this movie, as well as the New Mexico tests and those, and they were all done without CGI. So I'm going to be interested to see how they pulled that off. I will not believe anything coming up about Star Wars until I see production stills and people filming. I've got a really good idea for it. Yeah, that's just Star Wars right now is a mess. They all they do is announce stuff, and nobody seems to know when what's happening, and then it gets canceled. So yeah, I will hold off on getting excited about Star Wars. There are reports coming out that they might have Sasha come back as Supergirl for Wonder Woman of tomorrow since she was Will's Eve. I doubt it because James Gunn is going to want to pick his own person for that job. But I don't doubt that you'll see Sasha Calle as Supergirl again. If she gets a good reception, and where every indication that she does, and when we went, she did. I think you'll see more of her own Supergirl thing in some other thing, but I don't think because first of all, I don't think Supergirl World Tomorrow is coming out anytime soon anyway. Once again, we have a 3-year window. We were already at 2025 to begin with. Now with the strike, so you're talking we're in 2023 now. So I think we have a lot of time before that even happens. But most directors like to get their own people for those projects. What is classic storytelling? I mean, the original Star Wars was a trope. I mean, it depends on what times you're talking about, but I mean, nobody, I think the classic storytelling, the biggest problem they have is, like I said, I think people are just starting to get tired of the same old backyard. It gets old, but I don't think I don't think they've gone into the tropes. I just think that they've stayed in the same neighborhood too long, and it just no longer appeals to. You realize you're trying to sell Star Wars to a brand new generation who does not share the same resonance as we do with Luke Skywalker and the entire Skywalker family tree in that time period. Right? They're just not doing. I don't think it's tropes. I just think people are tired of this atmosphere, unless you stick Baby Yoda on it. And even then, people, this last Mandalorian season wasn't that well received. Chappie, I know some people say WB forced Zack Snyder to include Wonder Woman and BVS, but I honestly didn't think it was a force at all because their storyline fit into the plot very well, and that's all because of Zack Snyder. Yeah, because you're talking about I don't know when this strike is going to end, and remember when he made the announcement, you're talking 2024. But now, when we said we can't even, there's been no progress. There can be no progress made on it. So, personally, I'd want to see Sasha Supergirl with Henry Superman, and there are really cool ways to work together to battle Darkseid. In my opinion, that sounds like where she's fit. Yeah, well, she was designed for that universe, so yeah. Film Goblin, do you think the Snyderverse has a better chance of being restored after seeing the Flash? Yeah, but I can't give you a when and where and how. It definitely, in my opinion, doesn't close the door on it. I don't know if anybody has the desire to revisit it now, whether it be Zack Snyder, the stars that are involved, or anybody else. That's a key thing right now. Is the desire from the principal parties to do it again has to be there first. Once you have the desire to get it done, you can get anything you want done. But design wise, I think that the Flash leaves off to where any reality you want to shift your focus to is possible. All things are possible under the way they left it. All right, I don't get it when stressors like Scorsese, Coppola, Tarantino, Cameron explain that there's a lack of originality in the business they attacking. Like I said, ignore them. Ignore them. They're more than welcome to their opinion, but ignore them. I don't understand it either. Star Wars is spaghetti western with space opera. Yeah, that literally was the trope. That literally was what Star Wars, it was influenced by, and other things too. But classic storyline like hero's journey, or deconstruction of it, something not as submental as what they were making. Nobody's gonna buy that shit, dude. Nobody's going. Their audience will tune that out in a heartbeat. Yeah. Not everybody wants to see deconstruction, even though I do. But their audience. Here's the thing, though: whatever Star Trek or Star Wars puts out, with the exception of Solo, it made $1 billion. So, yeah. What goes on with Doomsday as well as that? I hated Doomsday in that. Zack Snyder said he wanted Superman to die because he wanted Batman to be in the samurai as he was getting together with other people. Yeah, I just thought Doomsday was forced. They don't have a respect for it, which I think is sad because storyteller in movies are movies. Movies are movies. All right, so here's some details on the new GA contract. Wages and benefits, groundbreaking game. Yeah, I see. I read that. But what I'm curious is to see where Netflix is specifically, where they're going to fall in this because they're the key to all this. Well, Donald Dwayne Johnson says him and Vin Diesel. I believe that. I believe that. There's, I believe that. There you go. 4% in the second year, 3.1%. Global streaming residuals, substantial increase in residuals. See, once again, I got to see how much Netflix gave up. Because, like I said, all these rest of these streamers can afford to have made concessions. I don't know if Netflix could. Wow, heartburn. I don't know why I have heartburn. I haven't eaten anything yet. All right, hold on. We'll go to transactions. Okay, fix that later. All right. As a result, it's a 76% increase in foreign residuals for the largest platforms. To that, residuals for a 1 hour episode will be roughly 90,000. See, can Netflix afford to do that? Obviously they signed on to it, but ugh. Stop chatting. All right. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a detailed article, and then like I said, I'm wondering what this will mean. Like you guys asked for the so it's WGA. By the way, that scene of Miles and Glenn conversing was one of the most Spidey scenes of the film, in my opinion. You know the one I'm talking about? Yeah, the one we used on our thumbnail last night with her upside down. Yeah. Nah, it wasn't a bad movie. It's just a bad time for that movie. I can see the Tarantino and Cameron's point. It's the reason why I haven't been to the theater since Army of the Dead. But here's the thing, though: these movies aren't made for them. They're made for the masses. That's what you have to understand. While you can respect their opinion, they're not the target. The movies aren't for them. The movies are for the masses that come to see the movies. I mean, you'd be hard pressed if you started making directors or making movies for just directors and producers, because they're very hard to please. The masses enjoy these movies, so while I respect these guys' opinions, I have to understand where their opinions are coming from and where they lie in the business sense. If I'm trying to make money, I'm not listening to Tarantino or Cameron or Coppola or any of these guys. We can respect them for what they are, but as far in the business sense, I just can't really hold their opinion in any regard as far as that goes. That's just their opinion, and they're more than welcome to it. I saw what someone said. BVS is one of the worst movies. Yeah, you know what? Film is subjective, but a lot of these dumbasses that said that never even saw BVS. So let's go to that. Well, yeah, when I first heard that Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson work, I'm like, it has to be for the promotion of the movie. Well, and plus they're grown ass men in their 50s. Grown men usually, especially in a work environment, you have to like each other to work together. I mean, everybody that goes to a job has the asshole in their job, but you find a way to get it done. Solo isn't bad. It shouldn't have been their best movie, but the main sequel trilogy is where they screwed up, and each one of those things made a shitload of money. Do you have any absolute editions in your comic book collections? Are they worth it? No, I do not. Whether they're worth it or not, I don't know. A lot of that is going to depend on the market, but they're very expensive. William, okay, so the masses go to see the next thing regardless of quality. Remember how big Transformers was. Actually, the first one was actually good. Every big franchise, yeah, but see, it's a business. Am I catering to a bunch of single-minded directors and producers who have every right to their opinion, or am I trying to make money? Now, you can make some indie stuff, and not get any in distribution and get on Tubi or something like that, and that's great. But if you want to make money and they're not doing this for free, then you have to appeal to the masses. And I understand why you don't go to the theater that often. I mean, you are exercising your right as a consumer. But if I'm the studio, I got to make money, man. Black Star Afro, what people seem to remember is that some of these directors have pitched comic book movies, Star Wars movies, and Star Trek movies to these studios. They all got turned down. Yeah. Coppola definitely did. Pebbles here's in Vegas. Is this your first time on one of my shows? Hi, Pebbles. Yeah. Cat ears were given to me by a fellow streamer, Rhea, who's come down here a couple of times. But yeah, she got me these, and I told her I'd wear them, and she bought them, and I'm wearing them. And they have the best microphone I own. So, right, it's a business, but the art that sets it in stone. Once again, though, art is subjective. There are people who think Tarantino movies are shit. There are people that think Tarantino movies are outright exploitation garbage. Is that person wrong, or is that just their opinion? So I have to give I have to give deference to the market. Quentin Tarantino is not the market. I feel that Martin Scorsese needs to give a little bit of respect to the Joker because Todd Phillips himself said that movie was influenced by the king of comedy and a taxi cab driver. You're dying. I hope you're dying of laughter and not anything health-wise. Okay, cool. This is your first time? Welcome to my stream, Pebbles. This is one of my tamer streams. This is just a Q&A for the most part. If you want to get on the wackier ones, the Saturday night streams are the ones where we go a little bit on the crazy side. William, do you think there will be bad blood between the writers and the directors now? A little bit. But at the end of the day, the directors did what they had to do for their financial viability. And that's what the Writers Guild is going to have to do. Yeah, but I'm talking about the people who did CBBS and hated it. Once again, they could probably give me a list of movies that they saw, and there's probably 3 or 4 of them on there that I hate. Yep. And they change colors, too. I don't have them on the chroma key to change right now. I don't feel like messing up my sound. But I didn't like the story, but I love the visuals. Yeah, probably my story-wise, probably my least favorite Zack Snyder movie. Because I haven't seen it, and I'm never going to see it. I've never seen the original. I have 0 plans in my life to ever see The Little Mermaid. It's just not in the books for me. Sorry. Let's see. I'm getting messages while I'm doing this. So I'm making sure. I need TikTok to stop sending me messages telling me my Facebook friends are on TikTok. I don't care. I probably don't need to know that. Chappy, thoughts on Jennifer's Body? I didn't think it was that great, to be honest with you. Although it's been a long time since I've seen it, though. It's been like, 12, 13 years since I've seen that movie? I'm glad you find my appearance amusing because I sure as hell don't take it seriously. I'm wearing cat ears and a Shazam shirt, so I'm having fun with it. Oh, dude, I wish I could afford to have Ric Flair to the Sci-Fi Center so that I could have him sign my belt. My big gold belt. The one that I am... Oh, no, I'm not wearing it here, but on my normal one, I would love... Ric Flair's name is on the belt and the nameplate. I would love to get him at the Sci-Fi Center, but he probably costs more money than I could ever afford. But hey, if I could ever make it happen, you'll be the first to know, Bray. Question actually, speaking of all the plastic Snyder stuff, Andy seems to think that Zack will probably dig what he's done with his character's universe and movie. Sounds like you could. Yes. He carries on the spirit and the DNA of these characters in every way. And like I said, if you enjoy Zack Snyder's movies, I think you would enjoy The Flash. What horror movie from the 2000s, late or early 2010s, and the further they get away from it, it's going to get a lot more respect by the horror movies and fans instead of hatred that it got when it first came out. I don't know, man. Jeez. Come up with these hard ones. Let the Right One In. But even people loved it, though. I can't think of one that people hated that really is getting better, because at that point, I can make that... I can answer that question if we were talking about the 80s because of time has passed, but we're still real close to those, so I don't have an answer for you there. Do you think Superman Legacy will make it? No, because it was going to be September of 2025. So you figure that September is the 9th month. So you're already at the end of 2025 to begin with. So I'm thinking that as this goes on longer, we're talking more like 2026, maybe January 26th, maybe maybe March 2026. But I would be surprised if any of these things that were slated for 2025 on that level met their deadline. And I think people will understand. Yeah, I want to meet him too. Yeah, that's the greatest wrestler of all time. I want to get my belt signed. I want to get a picture of him and me holding that belt together. Like I told you a story in the previous dream, I got to meet The Rock and Haku coming out of a restaurant near me. People to Kaku. I mean, he's a big teddy bear, was a nice guy. I think he meant Haku. I know you're talking about. Walter Amada is now at Paramount doing a horror movie low budget, which is what he should have been doing in the first place. And yeah, and he was brought over because of his low budget stuff that he did for New Line Cinema. That's not the person that needed to be running DC Films, though. You can't do pick and save Superman. You can't do pick and save. You could even the Batman. You watch the next The Batman, that budget's going to balloon. You're not going to get away with another 90 mil. The Crazies was a good horror movie remake. I remember that one. June 16th, The Flash. June 17th, The Return of Punk on AEW Collision. This is going to be big. Yeah, dude, this is the last month alone. Like I said, I've seen The Flash. I've seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I went to a live AEW event. And within the next couple of weeks, we have Transformers. We have Indiana Jones. We have The Flash. And then we have Dune. This is a really good year so far. 2023 is wrapping up to be a pretty fun year. I think it takes that long to get Superman going. Gunn will walk. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't think there's anybody to blame though. If it takes that long to get Superman going, it's because it's a strike. It will be different if it was disorganization, like the studio, jamming up. But it's a strike. He's on the line. So I don't know. I don't think he'd walk. They might have to extend his contract though, because his contract might go. Because remember, he's on a 4-year contract. So you're talking about if this goes beyond, I think they would have to extend his contract to cover him. But I don't know if he'll walk. Maybe. It's like correction when Superman Legacy is dated for July 2025. Even still, so that's 7 instead of 9. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, less likely. That's question. Is there a wrestler that you met when you were younger that, based on the trails by the child people he worked with, or other friends that you thought was going to be very mean, but ended up being nah? I met a lot of wrestlers when I was a kid, but I always heel turns and stuff and things like that as far as their active character goes. And as far as like every wrestler I've met in person, they've all been nice. When is Aquaman 2's original release date, though? I can't even remember. It's been so long since there's been a damn Aquaman movie. Dude, Aquaman was released in 2018. 5 years without Superman and 5 years without Aquaman. That's mismanagement. That's what hurts your movies. That's what could hurt The Flash. If anything can hurt The Flash, it's that. Release date is December 2023. So, yeah. Ugh. Well, it depends on how much pre-production that they're into, too. So, whew, that movie cost $205 million. Holy cow. Real Dale West. Red Alex was taken. Happy affiliate anniversary, Red Alex. This is the first time I've seen you. You're coming in from Twitch. Okay. But I would still take David Zaslav. Oh, yeah, I would take David Zaslav. I would take anything over Tommy Emmerich. I feel somehow, some way, DC will end up screwed just waiting for the next ball to drop. And that's a very pessimistic road to take, but given what we've been through, I can't really blame you. Aquaman Lost Kingdom was supposed to come out on July 14th this year, but it was pushed back to September 19th next year, barely. Now it's December. Hold on. Getting text. I'm sending people to see Transformers tomorrow, so I'm making sure that everybody has got the direction. And since I work in a 24-hour town, just got to make sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be. All right, cool. Yeah, dude, Aquaman. Dune 2 comes out 2 weeks before Aquaman 2. I can't wait for Dune 2. Dune 2 is going to be an epic. Dune 2 is going to win awards, man. All right, so let's see. Neighborhood Watch. Thanks. Thanks and cards. Oops. Play that around. Oh, wow, let's see. These blockbusters are jamming up with their close proximity releases. Yeah. You know, usually summertime and Christmas time you might get away with it because you're already at the movie. You don't all have to see the same movie. Like a lot of people are going to see a movie 2 or 3 times, and if they got their kids with them, the kids may not want to see it. Plus, you generally go to the movies more when you're off, like during the summer and during the Christmas time area. You generally go. So whereas you have to make that choice, a lot of it is schedule. You don't have those schedule concerns with the kids when they come to school. Now, you do have financial concerns because, like I was telling you guys the other night, which is why streaming is so viable, is the pure fact that it's too expensive. Even with the gap in between some of these movies. Payday is a bi-weekly thing, and some of these movies are right in between paydays. So when you're trying to manage these things, like I was talking to RJ the other night, RJ doesn't have kids, but he went with people to go see Spider-Man. It was $90 without snacks. $90 without snacks. But he sat in one of those nice premium theaters. And listen, some of these movies, you do want to save the extra couple bucks up and go see them. I recommend The Flash for IMAX, and I'm not the biggest IMAX guy. That first 15 minutes of The Flash, in my opinion, really needs to be seen on IMAX. I'll go to it. I'll see it. I'll probably be promoting it. So, Zack Rebel Moons is December as well. Yeah, and that's going to get a theatrical release, I hear. So, be good there. Listen, Rebel Moon looks awesome. All the influence that I like in big epics when it comes to science fiction, that type of science fiction, he looks like he's rolled them all up in this movie, and it looks amazing, so I can't wait. What have you heard about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom so far? Just the test screenings, but the test screenings are bullshit, so that's about it. I don't know if the release date is going to get moved. I didn't know where they were in post-production, and the movie's already done, so it's post-production, so the strike may not affect that, but who knows. What was the last 2 movies that you can remember that were released in such a short time frame between each other and the release dates where the box office got impacted significantly? I can't, to be honest with you. They generally don't do it. And the reason is why, because they want to, even though one movie might be better than the other and it'll stop another movie, you're still giving up 100% of your chance that you get that money. Even if 89% of the people go see your movie over the movie that's sitting in the next theater that just came out a week earlier, that's still 11% that you want to try for it. And nobody wants to put themselves in a position to risk costing each other money, because the studios are not studios, the movie theaters get hurt by this. And like we were talking before, you only have so many screenings to show these movies. So it's in the best interest of everybody involved is to space them out a little bit more so that you're not losing screens to a movie. If your movie has legs, you want to make money on that third weekend, you're going to want them to space your movie across. And generally, there's an agreement between all of them, because everybody's going to have that movie that can come out and stop somebody else's movie at any given time. Do you want the other studio to treat you like that? So it's a studio and a theater. And the theater, each time that a theater can't show the maximum amount of screens for each movie that it has, it doesn't lose money, but it doesn't make the money it needs. And studios the margin for profit on a theater is very thin. They hardly make anything on the movie itself. It's that food, but if they don't have the screenings, they can't have people buying the food. So it's a business decision. I go on Tuesdays, less than $20 with my girlfriend and friend. Yeah, I very rarely actually go to the movies outside of the screenings we host. Like we went for Spider Man because they didn't have a pre-screening here in Vegas, or I would have gone. But for so far, I've been lucky enough that the movies I like are on that are the ones being promoted. Like obviously, all my DC films are being promoted by Warner Brothers, so I go there, and then all the other ones are being promoted by another company we work with. So I rarely actually have to go to the movies in that manner. So for me, it's on Mondays and Tuesdays as well. William, what do you think that is the worst marketing company um, for a bad trailer goes? Oof. I have to think about that one. I don't have an immediate answer for you. I know there's been trailers that weren't necessarily bad, but when you saw the movie ended up being a lot better than the trailer. So the trailer didn't really do its job. But I'd have to think about that for a while. I do imagine cinemas, which is a budget theater with recliners, tickets are only $13. That's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. I know the one we went to the other day had those as well, and I think we paid them roughly around 15. So, but then, like I said, go buy a soda or go buy a bucket of popcorn. That's where they get you. They were doing more research with Aquaman 2 right before the strike. Okay, so that's tough. I don't have any good answers for you as far as Aquaman goes. I just know what they did. Honestly, I think I would have made more sense to have Aquaman come out during Thanksgiving. It's the only big box shows are coming out in November, specifically weekend. Now, depending on what they've done with, I don't know what they've done with the story. I don't know what kind of ending that they've had because the movie was like locked, but then that doesn't mean that means you can't mess with the movie in between the lines, but you could add a ton of stuff on there if you want to. So I don't know what they've added and what they've added does as far as its placement. It may be placed exactly where they needed to be. We don't know. Uh, all right. Let's see. I think we're winding it down. Email to myself. Well, I got a lot of screens up. I had a lot of night owls that are communicating with me at like 11:36 at night. I thought I was the only weirdo that texted people and sent people emails at the AM. Alright. Where am I at? William, do you think the worst market? No, because that wasn't. The problem with Black Adam is that movie was being released at a time. The trailers for Black Adam are horrible. Yeah, I do agree with that. But it was also put together by the poor regime. So yeah, Black Adam. But everything that regime did was a clusterfuck. So yeah, Black Adam's total buildup was stupid. But then again, it doesn't surpass the original center for Black Adam, which is making it in the first place. Is there a look at the movie schedule for November to see what any big blockbusters coming out to where it might have pushed Black because we shoot November? What do we got coming out? All right, you have the Marvels, um, November 10th. You have the Killer, November 10th, and the Holdovers, November 10th, and Dune Part 2, November 3rd. Let's go look at Son of Blend. No, I don't want to do dumb paywall. Let's see, July. Let's go to. Wow, there's a lot of movies coming out this year. Yeah, those are the only ones that I have right now that are. Let's see, Movie Insider. Dune Part 2, The Marvels, The Killer, and The Holdovers. Stutz, The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Trolls Band Together, Next Goal Wins, a horror movie about Thanksgiving. All right, I'm already there. A Family Affair, Please Don't Destroy, Wish, Napoleon, but didn't even know they were making that, Leo, and that's it. So I don't see anything in there that's groundbreaking. So. But then again, most of those movies I'm not going to see. 2:30 a.m. Woo-hoo. I just feel I just watched Black Adam again on streaming. It's better than the second time. I didn't think Black Adam was a horrible movie. I just think that it was being done under a bad regime and could have gotten a better movie out of that production company, but didn't because they weren't good at their jobs. B, it should have never been made. And C, they were under a poor regime. If he'd have been able to get Superman in that movie, it might have made a difference. But if they had not had Superman off of the air for 5 years up until that scene, we probably wouldn't have needed it wouldn't have had a big impact in Black Adam because we would have already had Superman on the screen. So yeah, there was a lot that got screwed up with those movies. William, are you looking forward to Dan Slott's Superior Spider-Man series this fall? Yeah, I hope it. Listen, yes and no. There's too many Spider-Man stories right now. I need like half of the Spider-Man books to get canceled. So because there's just too many of them right now. The ones that are miles sell, but the other ones are just kind of touched. It depends on what kind of variant coverage they're at. Question: the reason why I asked this is the results are so significant for Aquaman Lost Kingdoms. Would it make sense to push it back in November? Not really. I don't think so. That's just my opinion. Dreamhouse is a very good movie. That was horribly marketing, just giving away. Yeah, some of them do that. Some movies are so shallow that that's all they are. I have a lot of people asking me that they're giving away everything in the Flash trailers. Listen, I saw the Flash. No, they are not. So, all right, we're at 109. Throw them at me, guys. This is your time. I don't have Sister Kim's here today, food wise, so you guys got a little bit more time. The stuff that I'm eating tonight is not the kind of stuff that would have you drooling like Kim's food would. Shazam should have been an antagonist in Black Adam. I don't think it would have helped. I really don't. But it would have been fun to see, but it wouldn't have made both movies would have bombed. The biggest, like I always say, the biggest hurdle that Black Adam and Shazam had was that they were Black Adam and Shazam. Nobody knows those characters. Nobody's going to peel away valuable cash to go see those characters in the droves that they needed to justify them being made. Miles Morales. Or Miles Morales Spider-Man. It was Web of Spider-Man when it was Miles Morales' book. When they gave him his own book, that's what it does. Well, I'm also excited to watch The Flash, but I've had certain superhero movies give a major migraines. Should I avoid The Flash in theaters? Nah, it's not that kind of movie. I mean, keeping up with him speeding they slow it down. Like I said before, the Spider-Verse you might have some issues with because there's a lot of animation flashing in that movie. It's almost like a little disco. Not entirely a strobe effects, but it's not one either. So be careful there. Let's see. Where's Fast X at? I'm curious. Where's Fast and the Furious? Seeing what the box office is. I still haven't seen Fast X. Not going to either. When it comes on streaming, I'll go see it. After Fast 9, you're not going to fool me that late again. Let's see. Fast X is at 603 million with a $340 million budget. Holy cow. That is insane. Let's see. If there's nothing new coming out till the writer's strike is over, no. If there's nothing new coming out till the writer's strike is over, then it's a good time for people to watch Howard the Duck. You know what's going to happen if they watch Howard the Duck? They're going to realize just how valuable good writers are, and they'll support them. Question: would you say that the Flash got a lot of cheer moments from the audience that you saw? Well, yes, especially when cameos happen. Spider-Verse is very busy and fast-paced. There's a lot going on. Yes, it is, and they make it work, man. It is literally, I can't say this more, it is literally the best Spider-Man movie, live action or cartoon. It's too bad because Black Adam was The Rock's passion. Was The Rock's passion project. He tried to get that movie made for years, and when he finally comes out, it bombs. He will no longer be part of DC anymore. I think you'll see. People told me that Dwayne Johnson was going to be part of the Fast Furious franchise again, and here he is, part of the Fast Furious franchise again. Like Homer Simpson. There we go. Get the donut off there. So I don't think we've seen. It might be for a while. Who knows? But I don't think we've seen the last of him in the DC. But here's the thing. I understand you wanted this. I understand this is his passion project. But somebody needs to be the grown up in the room and say, no, we're not making this movie until we get our universe set, until we get our Superman set, until we get our Batman set, until we get our Green Lantern, all this. Someone should have said no. Because you did him no favors by saying yes. So here you go. Based off the sales, what continuous Spider-Man comic series should be canceled? Ugh. Let's see. Let's pull up. I don't have my sales on this computer. I have it at the store's laptop. Okay. Let's see what needs to go. Obviously, we're not going to get rid of Amazing. Friendly Neighborhood. Now I keep Spider-Gwen. No, there's 7 in them right now. So I thought I had way more than that. Amazing's not doing too well, but I can't get rid of Amazing. Astonishing. Tell you what, I'll make it easier. You keep Amazing. What you do with everything else, if you're not into Fast and Furious now, Fast X is not going to pull you back in. Well, once again, the car going into space with duct tape. You lost me there. Yes, it is. It is out in every theaters. It's out in 4,700. Go see it, man. You want good stories? This movie has this movie and The Flash to me are just it's cool to have seen these movies in the same proximity of each other. I mean, it's fun to be a superhero fan, and both movies are not MCU movies, which is I don't think that's by accident. I'm trying to remember when the last MCU movie I actually enjoyed. I mean, like on the level I enjoyed The Flash and enjoyed I think No Way Home. Well, No Way Home is technically an MCU movie, but I haven't been excited about an MCU movie and thought that there was quality there since No Way Home, and we're in 2023, so it's been 2 years. Ugh. You mean DCEU beat you to a better movie before you came out with another good one, Marvel? Damn. And then Sony, like I said, Sony with Spider-Man, they tell the best Spider-Man stories, period. Whether it's a cartoon or live action, the best Spider-Man movies, period, are from Sony. So anybody else who tells you that Miles, go to the MCU, that's because they've been hypnotized by what Marvel Cinematic Universe was at the beginning of its deal and not what it turned into. So sorry. That's probably why Black Adam didn't get made for a very long time. Yeah, the smart people said no, the stupid people said yes. Spider-Man comics depends on who's writing and animating the comic books. Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, I mean, a lot of people get turned off at a certain point and they don't get turned back on again. And even if you switch out writers and stuff, and artists, sometimes you still have a dead book because nobody comes back to it. Now, what I really want to happen, and I know this is weird because he works for Image, is Todd McFarlane needs to come back and do like a 2-year run of Amazing Spider-Man. His run on Amazing Spider-Man from issues 298 to 328 were historic. It put him on the map, and it put Spider-Man on the map, back on the map. I mean, he was already 30 years at that time. That was the 30th anniversary year that Todd McFarlane took over. But it put him, just the covers alone during Todd McFarlane. And I think him coming back to a Spider-Man book, Amazing would be the best. But if he were to come back and do Spider-Man, hell, if he were to come back and do the covers, I think the sales would increase. But him and Miscellany's run on Amazing Spider-Man to this day, 34 years later, is just probably one of the most historic runs on Spider-Man. All right, guys. Well, hey, it's an hour and 18. We're at 11:50 a.m. I'm hungry. So if nobody has anything else, I think this is a good time to go ahead and wrap everything up. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow night. We're going to try to keep a tight schedule: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday. Because, like I said, I am available a lot earlier. I'm going to start going to more movies on Sunday, so we may do more straight out of the theater reactions. I hope you all had a chance to catch the Spider-Verse spoiler-free review we did. If you didn't, I'm going to put it in the chat again for those of you who still haven't seen it. There you go. All right, real quick, I see a couple of last ones you mentioned on the stream that the Flash makes Elseworlds more relevant. So ideally, I would hope that the Flash DC Studios gives us that. They'll definitely have time to with the strike. Well, the writers that would write it won't be around, but it's been a sad, tragic crime that DC Films has not exploited their own multiverse and their own Elseworlds. Somebody should be imprisoned over that, but you can make up for it. I don't know if Quentin Tarantino will be Zack Snyder doing it. I don't, dude. It's Todd McFarlane has been the one picking the director. I mean, he's a great illustrator and comic book guy, but he's not necessarily the best producer. He's the one holding us back. So, all right, guys, let's get the hell out of here. You have a great night. I will see you at some point tomorrow. Got to get something to eat, take some Benadryl, and slide into a very safe coma for the night. See you later.